three orangutans, I'm arranging my sneakers. I'm the action on the court, you the gum stuck to the bleachers. I think I'm Paul Pierce, I think I'm Rondo. High off that headband, you dying on that hydro.
What is going on, Green Teamers? Welcome back to the latest episode of the Green Teamers podcast. As always, it's your host. You got Ernie and my boy Marvin.
I am me.
If this is your first time watching, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you don't already, please follow us on Instagram. That's going to be on the screen for you. That's the Green Teamers _podcast. If this is your first time, like I mentioned, normally what we do here is we go over the Celtics past week games, the upcoming week of games, and then we open it up to the NBA and just talk about NBA news, Celtics news, just anything NBA in general. I'm assuming if you're watching this, hopefully you know that it's playoff season, baby. Like I said last week, the playoffs are upon us, and this is the best time of year. It's the time it gets the grittiest, the hardest, and the most exciting.
Best time to be a Celtics fan.
For sure, especially this week. But before we get into that, today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at games 1 and 2 that we played. We're going to take a look forward to games 3 and 4. And then, like I said, we're going to open it up to the rest of the playoff series and just take a look at what series are surprising us, which ones we think are over, and which ones we think have a couple more games to go.
Who knows? By next week, this series might be over.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Shit.
But as always, we're going to be smoking on some concentrates brought to you by Rugged Roots.
Where?
Rugged Roots, straight out of Maine with that fire, that fuego. Thank you, Maine.
That cheese. Hey.
We're going to be smoking it out of the Peak Pro. So if you aren't already, light up, smoke up, roll up. You know the deal. Go ahead and spark up. Marvin, let me open it up to you. Games 1 and 2, give me your impressions.
I love the Kyrie hate. Absolutely love it. I love the energy in the Garden. I love the fact that it's getting to him. He came into the series dismissing. Everybody was pretty much dismissing the bug that's going around in terms of Kyrie coming back to Boston, this, that, and the third. Mm. And it's showing in our gameplay too. Like we're really focused. We're locked in. They're doing what they need to do. Last night's game, we were down 12 at some point, going into the second quarter, ending the half, we were down 10. We were down the whole time, and I wasn't really too pressed. I was waiting for that comeback. Third quarter, that rally started to come through. Al Horford led the way for a little bit, and at that point, you can see it in Brooklyn. Their demeanor just changed. Now they became pressed. Now they're the ones almost forcing shots. Durant. We were talking about it this morning. I don't think this nigga's seen a double team since Golden State.
For sure.
Like, he forgot what that shit meant.
So let me just break this down a little bit here for us. Let's talk about game 1 in general, because you were talking about how you love the Garden energy and the fans' energy and how we're treating Kyrie Irving at the moment. I definitely saw it more in game 1 than in game 2. Granted, I think that's just the way the game is. I don't think we're going to be heckling Kyrie all game, every game, especially in Brooklyn.
No.
But that game 1 energy was amazing. I love that we were chanting, "Fuck you, Kyrie." He got to the point where he was flipping some of the fans off. Like it was perfect. And I'll say this, whether we won by 1 point or 20, that was a nitty-gritty win. And I am so proud of the guys. They stepped up. That leads into last night where, again, they stepped up. They were down by 17. Everybody played their role. And this is what we've been talking about all season is when our top 2 guys, top 3 guys aren't playing their best, then we can at least we should be able to look to the bench and give us
support.
That spark. So
right.
Granted, last night I thought we were in trouble because if Grant Williams is your top scorer or is the guy who's saving you,
we're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
But it wasn't just Williams. You had Pritchard stepping up in big moments. Pritchard only comes into the game when Kyrie comes out. But last night, Pritchard proved himself enough to where Kyrie came back on the floor, and he had a couple minutes where they were both on the court together. Pritchard showed up. He did what he had to do, and that's the whole point. When you have those little spurts, those little minutes, those opportunities, you need to take advantage.
Absolutely.
They all fucking took advantage. They all stepped up, did what they need to do. Brown and Tatum had a slow start last night, but Grant Williams was able to sort of
steer the ship for us.
Right.
At one point, he hit like, I think it was 7 points in a row for us, or maybe it was 8 points, but it was definitely like 2 threes in a row, a quick 2-pointer, and he was actually perfect from the field. I don't know if you know that, but he was 17 points, and he was like 6 for 6 or 7 for 7, something like that.
Yeah, he was on a roll in that first quarter.
Yeah, so I know I've personally gotten on Grant Williams for not being able to hit shots earlier in the season or in past seasons. But again, I got to take that back. I got to give Grant Williams his props. Shout out to you, Grant Williams, because you definitely saved our ass last night. Shout out to Peyton Pritchard. I've always thought he was going to be that spark plug off the bench. Like I said, give us those quick 6-8 points, kind of stop the bleeding at times when the Nets were on a run. And that's the one thing that not necessarily shocked me, but it shocked me in the sense that I wasn't worried. Yes, at one point we were down by 17, but the way we've been playing that second half of the season or after the All-Star break,
you had a feeling that
at no point in time was I like, oh, this game is over. There's no way we can come back from this. In my head, there was always like, we just got to get back to how we were playing and get our momentum going. And this 17-point lead is easily cuttable or bring, I don't know what the word is. You know, we can make that comeback.
What it was, the issue was, fucking, in that second quarter, we were down a good 12, 15 points. I think most went to like 17. It was that entire quarter. So that 15-point lead felt like a 20, 25-point lead because it kept going 17, 12, back to 15, and 11, and then it kept going back. Like, that's why the lead felt so long.
Definitely.
Once we were able to get a couple of shots going and stops on defense, the whole momentum, it changed. And Charles Barkley said it last night on the show on Inside the NBA during the halftime show. Brooklyn fucked up when that 15-point lead got cut down to 10 by halftime.
Yeah.
Because you gave Boston that sort of
momentum, that spark going into halftime.
And you lost that cushion. Mm-hmm. So everything went in favor of Boston to the point where we go back to Brooklyn now. We only have to split the series. We don't have to win both games.
Right.
We just have to split.
Which is what before the series started, is kind of where we are now is kind of where I thought we would be. I thought we would steal a game in Brooklyn. We would win the first two.
Right.
And we would coming back to Boston up 3-1. I do think we'll lose that game 5 and make it a 3-2 series. Okay. But ultimately, I predicted it'd be 6 games after being up 3-1.
Right.
And at the moment, like I said, I don't want to jinx anything. And I forget, it might have been Charles Barkley, but there was someone who said that a playoff series doesn't start until a team wins on the road.
On the road, yep.
Because at this point, yes, we have home court advantage, so we would come back for Game 7, but you never want to be in a Game 7 position because at that point, it's literally up in the air.
Coin toss. And they threw out that stat, Celtics are 40-1, went up 2-0. I didn't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. There's a long way to go.
Yep,
we've been up 2-0 before, and
the last time we were up 2-0, LeBron waxed us. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear that 2-0 stat.
Yeah, I don't even want to, like, even if we win the first series, the run is not over. We have a lot more work to do. If we win this first series, let's just get right onto the second series. Do not change the mentality. Do not think, oh, we beat the Nets, we are automatically the NBA champions.
I want to end this series early because the way things are going with Milwaukee and Philly's on a roll. But with Milwaukee, Chicago might actually push them to 7 games. I predicted 6. It could go 7 games, and that's what you want because Middleton got hurt, so he might be out for a couple games.
Mm-hmm. It might even be a couple weeks, depending on the level. It was
MCL,
a sprain.
Right?
I think it was an MCL sprain. So depending on the grade of that injury,
he's definitely out for this first round.
Yeah.
So that makes it harder for the Bucks. I think they'll still come out, but it still makes it more of a challenge. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if they play us next or they play Philly next.
They'd play us next.
Okay. I would love Milwaukee.
Okay.
I think we can still take the Sixers too, regardless. But Milwaukee would be straight. That'd be cool.
Gotcha.
Miami's on a roll too. I think Miami's gonna beat Atlanta anyways. I'm not too worried about that series. But the Celtics, and the most important part is if we're able to clean through this series, Robert Williams doesn't have to play. So it gives them another week to just rest up for that series against the Bucks where we will really need him.
Right. I think if that were the case and we finished almost a week early, he would be ready for that game one. And
That
I think
second round,
at
right.
that point, that would be a great point to just bring
absolutely.
him back and have the full team ready to go. But before we move on to the rest of the NBA and the other series, let's talk about Marcus Smart and winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Deep boy.
Shout out to Marcus Smart. Well
shit.
deserved. Congratulations. Marvin, were you surprised? Did you knew it was coming?
No, I was
I think
shocked.
we saw it coming.
I was actually shocked.
Okay. You thought they were going to go with the traditional center route?
I thought they were going to choose somebody else. I thought, you might hear Gobert again for like the 5th time. Some shit like that.
Right.
And when I was watching it on Tuesday or whatever, they mentioned finalists, and I was like, oh, shit, I word. Marcus Smart's a finalist. And they said he won the shit. I was like, nigga, what? So I'm happy for him.
Gotcha.
I'm really happy for him. I'm not going to say it's long overdue, but it's well deserved.
Now, you say it's well deserved and you're happy for him, but I have to call both of us out because prior to the season or at the start of the season, we both were in favor of keeping Dennis Schroeder in place of Marcus Smart.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to trade his ass.
So tell me about that. Do you take that back? Are you admitting it was a bad take? You kind of rushed it. What do you feel? What are your feelings on that?
Nah, I didn't rush it. I feel like I stand by it. I'm wrong in terms of the chemistry the team has this year with him. I thought he was the reason why they were sort of folding the second and third. If they traded him, I still wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been upset over a trade. The fact that they kept him and we've been playing as well as we have, and he won Defensive Player of the Year, I can sit there and say, okay, maybe I was wrong in the sense where you weren't fucking up the team chemistry.
So what would your take be on if we did trade him and he still had this breakout second half of the season where he ultimately won Defensive Player of the Year, but he wins it with someone else because we traded him? Are you mad?
I think if he got traded to a contender, then he would have still won. If he got traded to the Houston Rockets, he wouldn't have won.
But I'm saying he does win. He wins the award with another team. Okay. Are you upset at the organization for trading him? Or
okay.
Are you still standing on, well, it wasn't working, so even if he won it somewhere else, it just wasn't working here?
With that, if I'm going to play the what if, it all depends on who we traded him for.
Right.
If we traded him for good pieces and he still won Defensive Player of the Year, then I would really.
Right, because those pieces could also, we could be in the same position.
Exactly.
That's fair enough.
But if he won and we got Derek White, what's his name? Dude's been trash lately on the Spurs. From the Spurs. It's Derek White, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. If we traded Smart for him, and then we've been getting what we've been getting from him, I'd be pissed.
Well, I'll say this. I know Derek White hasn't been scoring many points, but when you see him on the court, he's at least making smart plays. He's in the right place. He's making the right plays.
True.
He's making plays for others.
I was just going back to your point. If it was a trade for him and that happened,
okay.
Then yes, I would be upset.
Gotcha. Okay. I see what you're saying.
But
perfect.
To that point with Derek White, I'm fine. We got Tyson returned for Schroeder, but what we gave up we should have just kept Richardson.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we could have somehow managed it, sending Dennis Schroeder to San Antonio instead of Josh Richardson would have worked in our favor even better.
Exactly.
But I think people might sort of say that would almost be like a watch. Like we just took everything and gave the Spurs nothing.
Well, that's how it felt like that with Derek White because they ended up getting a draft pick out of us.
Granted, I believe it was this year's first round draft pick.
Right.
So it's not like it's a very
great.
I don't think we need it, and it's not very valuable at 25 plus.
Okay, I see your point. I need to see more from this nigga though. He's not. I don't know. Maybe.
No, I admit we can definitely use an extra 6 to 8 points from him more consistently rather than
absolutely.
Like I've been saying, if he wasn't so good on defense, if he wasn't making these at least good plays,
he wouldn't be playing.
He'd be unplayable.
Yeah, absolutely. So. At this moment, yeah. And Tice needs to work on the defense too. He's slipping a little bit.
I think the refs they always come for Tice, so I think even if
they have it out. Have it out for this nigga. I swear to God.
Yeah, I feel like even if he's really on it that game, like having a great defensive game, the refs are just gonna start calling fouls on him to kind of cool him off. It just seems like you said, the refs seem to be out for him.
Fuck it.
But with that being said, Marvin, any last Celtics takes? How about games 3 and 4?
I think we'll split the series. I think we might lose game 3. No. We'll win game 3, lose game 4.
Sorry, you said lose game 3, win game 4.
No, win game 3, lose game 4.
Okay, so take the first 3, lose 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll agree with you. I think they'll also win game 3, lose game 4. Like I said, I already predicted the 3-1, but the way we're playing right now, I think we can steal that first game in Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn's going to be in panic mode, and Kevin Durant is always going to be Kevin Durant, so he's just going to have one of those games. That's how they how they steal game 4.
I was going to ask my final just Celtics take. If the Celtics win game 3, do you think Kyrie quits in game 4? Like, so essentially just doesn't give it his all?
I think it's very well possible, only because if he plays the game, there's a higher chance that there's more room for critique.
Right.
So he has more room for error and more stuff for the fans and the analysts to pick at.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at some point he may give up and
just phone it in.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily. Like, he was on the court for game 2, but he didn't.
Yeah, that fourth quarter, he was almost non-existent.
Right. So I think that's kind of what happens. I don't know if that's necessarily giving up, but I think that we'll see another case of that.
Must be all that fucking fasting. It's fucking you up in that fourth quarter, bro.
But let's move on to the rest of the NBA. Let's open it up to the rest of the series. We'll just go right down the list, starting from the Eastern Conference. We have Miami and Atlanta. They're up 2-0. Any surprises there?
Miami and Atlanta?
Miami and Atlanta, yeah. Miami up 2-0.
Oh, I thought they split that series.
Mm-mm.
Not yet? Oh, no surprise there.
No surprise
Atlanta will win at least one game at home, and it'll still go 6, but Miami's taking that one.
Agreed. Next up, we got Philadelphia and Toronto. Philadelphia being up 3-0.
I thought it was going to go 6. This one might actually be a wash early.
I was going to say I also predicted 6, and I didn't predict Philly being up 3-0.
Right.
I definitely thought it was going to be a 2-1 at the very least, whether it was Toronto stealing the first game or the second game.
Right.
But definitely did not see 3-0.
No, that surprised me.
Next, we got Milwaukee and Chicago. That one is split 1-1.
Still going 6. Bucks are dealing with an injury. They're in trouble in the second round. First round, I think they'll still get through.
Mm-hmm.
But second round's going to bring them problems.
Yeah, definitely. Lastly, in the Eastern Conference, we have Boston and Brooklyn. That's 2-0. We said the next 2 games would be split, which means this time next week, hopefully we're up 3-1.
Right.
That's where we would like to be. Moving over to the Western Conference, we have Phoenix and the Pelicans.
Still going 4-1.
Still going 4-1. Right now it's 1-1, so you're thinking the Suns are just going to sweep the rest?
They're just going to clean it up. But Devin Booker is hurt. So, again.
Was that confirmed to be a hamstring, or was that something else?
That's a hammy.
Hammy? Okay.
Yeah. So, I think Chris Paul can do enough to sort of weather the storm, first round series. Second round, they're going to need Booker. So, that's where, like the Bucks, they're going to be in trouble in the second round. But first round, they'll be fine.
Gotcha.
4-1.
Next, we got Dallas and Utah. That one is also split 1-1.
What do we say in our predictions?
In our predictions, I think we left it up to whether Luka was playing or not, which he hasn't. But
we called a loss.
He hasn't, and it's split 1-1, so I didn't see that. I definitely thought if it was him not playing in the first 2 games, it'd be 2-0 to the Jazz.
Right.
I think we said if Luka doesn't play for the majority of the series, it might even be 4-1.
Yeah.
So
they might prove us wrong on that one.
But I forget who it was on the Mavericks. He had a big night the other night. I think he had like 40 points.
Oh, was it Jalen Brunson?
It might have. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember the name, but someone had 40 points.
Jalen Brunson, Maxi Kleber went off. He was hitting a couple of threes. Yeah, that one. If the Jazz end up fumbling the bag, Donovan Mitchell, you need to go to New York or something. Like no bullshit. You need to go.
You need a change of scenery.
Yeah, change away from Gobert, and because y'all clearly don't fuck with each other.
Yeah, I could say no matter how the series goes, whether they lose in the first round or the second round, I think it might differ if it's in the third round or the finals. But if they have an early exit, then that's gonna he's gone, or he's gonna ask for a trade, something along those lines. Whether it's Rudy Gobert leaving, but
Right.
definitely something's up there, and this playoff series or this playoff run will definitely be someone getting traded will be contingent on this playoff run.
Absolutely.
Next, we have
But I got Dallas winning.
You got Dallas winning still?
Yeah, I still got Dallas winning, though.
Okay. Next, we got the Golden State Warriors versus the Denver Nuggets. Golden State up 2-0.
That one might be a 4-1 gentleman sweep. What did we call, 6 games?
We did. We called 4-2. Definitely surprised that they're not surprised that they're up 2-0, but I'm surprised at how they're up 2-0. They just look dominant in both games.
Yeah, the Warriors are looking good.
Yeah.
Like, they're out west. I'd be scared if I were y'all. Like,
especially, like you said, Devin Booker is injured now. I think that with him healthy, that's what carried the Suns to be the leading candidate to come out of the West.
Right.
But now that he's injured and the Warriors starting to pick up some steam
That
and playing
changes
like this, that changes it, which I think maybe that, at least I did, maybe you did as well, is kind of the reason why we had them going all the way to the finals and playing the Celtics.
Absolutely. That Western Conference Finals matchup, we were thinking it was going to be the Suns and the Warriors. It can still happen. But, yeah, Warriors are looking like the team to come out the West. I would love to see it.
And lastly in the West, and lastly the last playoff series is Memphis versus Minnesota, and it's split 1-1.
I thought that was going to be a fun series going in, and it's 1-1 split.
They're going back to Minnesota now. Okay.
Wolves are scaring. Wolves are not scaring people, but they look good. Like when they're on the same page, everybody's on the same page. They play with intensity, and they're fun to watch. It can still go 6. I still have the Grizzlies coming out.
Yeah.
Just because they're a little more solid, but that's a stay tuned and watch, because an upset wouldn't be surprising in that series.
It wouldn't be surprising, and even if Minnesota loses, I see it as a watch out for Minnesota.
Right.
They're only the 7th seed now, but it looks like they're getting those pieces together, and those pieces are coming together nicely.
Next year they'll be that team to start 13-1 to start the season.
Watch it happen, man. Yeah. Watch it happen. But that wraps up the playoff series for the rest of the NBA. Marvin, any last takes? Any last comments, concerns, questions?
It's been fun to watch so far.
I will say I know you'll agree, but I love the first round of the playoffs. Those first 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 games on every night.
Day.
Cannot beat it.
And then that second round comes through, and you're just like, oh, it's every other night now.
Yeah. And then even worse when it's the conference finals.
Yep. And then the NBA finals is every fucking week. You're like, God, 1 game a week?
Right.
I can't deal with this shit.
Brutal. But, yeah. Anything else?
No, I'm just looking forward to the next 2 games. Celtics better just keep the momentum going. Don't play Robert Williams until you have to. And fuck Brooklyn.
Heard it here first. Thank you guys for watching. We'll wrap it up here. Catch us next week. Peace.